Video games became a new favorite hobby of mine in 2024. Dredge, Wylde Flowers, Roki, and of course, The Sims were all favorites of mine last year. As I played these games, I learned a whole lot about myself as a gamer. Like, I love narrative style games, I love, some puzzle elements, and I especially enjoy a game where there's like supernatural or paranormal elements. There's been tons of talk online about all these upcoming games. It's super exciting. And although I don't have a lot of like release date information for these, those have yet to be announced. A few of them are, and I think it's just fun to get excited about what's to come, especially at the start of a new calendar year. So I have about like 10 or 11 games that are coming out either in 2025 or in the supposed near future. Let's kick things off here with Grave Seasons. This is a supernatural murder mystery farming sim. You are playing as the new farmer in Ashen Ridge as you harvest crops, fish, and mine. You're going to be meeting and romancing townsfolk, just building up the community, and maybe possibly stopping murder. How fun! I love a little murder mystery. I enjoy cozy mystery books that have some type of like supernatural paranormal element, just some type of like dark aspect that makes it not as wholesome. I love the contrast in this game of like something super sweet that we all know and love, a farming sim, and then you really add something super macabre into the mix. I really do hope this one leans into that supernatural side that they included in the little synopsis. And then we have Witchbrook, which everybody and their mom is waiting, anticipating this release, which is just a huge question mark. And I see why people are so hyped on this one. Embark on a magical coming of age adventure when you enroll as a witch in training at Witchbrook College. Journey from the familiar to the fantastical as you learn to harness the magic around you in this detailed life simulator and social RPG. You're basically playing as a spooky little witch. The graphics are gorgeous and you're able to like connect with people, making friends, getting into like romantic situations. It sounds really fun and I just adore the graphics. And then we have Moonlight Peaks, which is set to release in 2026. Experience life as a vampire in the magical town of Moonlight Peaks. In this heartwarming life sim, you set out to prove to your skeptical father, Count Dracula, that a life of compassion is possible, even for the undead. Make friends with the local werewolves, witches, and mermaids, and find your eternal love in the supernatural dating scene. You unlock powers as you go. You're creating little like potions and concoctions as you're cultivating the land. And I think there's also some like mystery element to this. But like, wow, I remember when I first heard that this game was in production, I was so excited because it's like a vampire farming sim. I've never heard of that in my life. But the second I did, I was like, how have they not made this already? I've always been somebody who wished they could be an Animal Crossing or like a Stardew Valley player. Those games just don't, I don't know, they have yet to connect with me because maybe they do in the future, but this feels like a spooky version of Animal Crossing or more specifically Stardew Valley. So I think this game might be like the spooky gals version to Stardew. And then for all of you cozy readers, we have the Tiny Bookshop, which is coming out in 2025. Leave everything behind and open a tiny bookshop by the sea in this cozy narrative management game. Stock your tiny bookshop with different books and items, set up shop in scenic locations, and run your cozy secondhand bookshop while getting to know the locals. I mean, doesn't every reader dream of one day opening up their own bookshop? I can't wait for this game to finally come to PlayStation. Hopefully it does at some point get a console release, because at the time of me filming this, I think it's only set to be released on PC. Hopefully that changes soon. As you might be able to tell, I really do love witchy games, and this next one is definitely fitting the bill. Loose Leaf, a tea witch simulator, is a game where you manage the tea room of your dreams with the most in-depth tea brewing simulation out there. You're going to be experimenting with delicious ingredients to find the best recipes for serving your guests, while also learning the secrets of the tea room through tarot cards and dialogue. This game is reminding me of Coffee Talk, which is another visual novel where you are creating and brewing up different concoctions. I would love to play this either like in the winter, but especially the fall for all of those like seasonal witchy vibes. And because there's a story behind this, I think having that ground the whole game makes it far more intriguing than if it was just brewing up concoctions. To me, that's not really that fun. But if you add a story element to it, and there's kind of like reasons behind, creating these teas, and maybe there's some way that you can impact and interact with the story through what you brew up, that could be really fun. And I clearly really enjoy myself a good cup of tea because this next game, Wanderstop, also features this beverage. Coming out March 11th, Wanderstop is a narrative-centric cozy game about change and tea. Playing as a fallen fighter named Alta, you'll manage a tea shop within a magical forest, and you'll also tend to the customers who pass through. But Alta doesn't necessarily want to be here. And if she gets her way, the tea shop will be nothing but a brief and painful memory. You're making friends as you go, trying to build up rapport with your customers. And I think by the end of this game, you're really helping Alta decide, should she stay or should she go? So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Legends and Lattes because you have, a cast of characters that are building up this shop. And in Legends and Lattes, you have an ex-fighter who has left that life. Different here, though, is that this game has somebody who begrudgingly is starting a new business venture, whereas in Legends and Lattes, that character was definitely super gung-ho about starting their business and leaving behind their past life. And then we have Farmwand, which is coming very soon to early access. Fresh out of the Wizarding Academy and finally ready to face the world, you grab your broom, prepare your robes, and reach the land where you'll settle. It's time to make this new land your home. Just beware the darker creatures that lurk in the distant shadows. Farmwand is an open world fantasy adventure. My favorite part is that it's full of monsters, magical creatures, and a lot of other supernatural entities that will really be fun to interact with. I think that's the biggest thing I'm finding with any kind of farm sim. I need a cast of characters, an ensemble that's kind of creating some challenges, some barriers that just kind of make it juicy. I think the gaming community is really over just more Stardew Valley. That game is great, but I think that when people just try to repeat that, just rinse and repeat, it's very obvious. It's not very creative. So there's just tons of witchy farm simulators coming out this year and in the next. So how will they differentiate themselves and make themselves unique and distinctive is a huge question. And then we have the Witch's Bakery, which just sounds so cute and fun and interactive. So we play Loon, who moves to a new city at the start of the game. The game is kind of broken up into 3 parts. There's the daytime, evening, and then the night, which all have their own 3 specific kind of gameplay options. The daytime is for baking, taking care of customer needs. The evening is when you are exploring Paris, building up relationships, making friends. The night is for resting, decorating your bakery, and also improving your magic too. And there's also this element as well that kind of reminds me of Spirit Fair, where your task is also simultaneously to also, enjoy baking and having all this witchy fun, but you're also there to help people too. You're helping them on their journey to heal and move forward in their lives. So I think there might be some emotional aspects to this and depths that you might not see in a traditional witchy game. Songs of Glimmerwick is so gorgeous with their graphics. It is another witchy game where you are in, or leaving an academy, I'm not too sure which. It seems like you are enrolling at their local witchy academy in the town of Glimmerwick. With your trusty flute and songbook at your side, you'll attend classes and join after-school clubs, make friends with classmates and townsfolk, and uncover Glimmerwick's many oddities and mysteries, all while enjoying a year of seasons, festivals, curses, and witchy hijinks in this peaceful, story-driven RPG. If there's something I know about me as a gamer, I need a story. I need something that keeps me in the game beyond just the satisfaction of solving puzzles. I need these puzzles and these pursuits to be really contextualized by a larger story. So it sounds like this game will have that as well. And again, the graphics are just so gorgeous. It's just so moody, autumnal. Might even be a spooky spring, possibly Goblin Core vibes, or at the very least Dark Cottage Core. Okay, this next game I am so hyped for. I'll be devastated if it does not release on console because it's said to only be coming out on PC, and I honestly would probably get a Steam just to play this game alone. Wylde Society takes place in the bustling town of Fairhaven at the turn of the century. Explore fashion, architecture, society rules, and etiquette inspired by the recent past. Run your own magical boarding house, host splendid limited parties, explore the beyond, and befriend magical creatures. The reason why I'm so hyped for this game is that it seems like it's either in the world of or a follow-up to Wylde Flowers, which was the first game that got me into this whole hobby in the first place. Just based off of the trailer that's been released, it seems like they're going to be taking a lot of like elements from the spiritualist movement. You know, seances, trying to contact the dead, you know, the Ouija boards, you know, just a casual like girls' night out. And I'm so excited to see if there are like familiar characters that pop up or just like connected lore. Maybe it's like a prequel that gives us like insight into the town of Fairhaven. Whatever it is, I'm super hyped to play it. I just have so much respect and admiration for this design team. These like game developers do such a great job of being inclusive of every kind of identity group. And honestly, I'll be hyped for any game they ever put out in the future. So look out for this one. Last, but definitely not least, is Cabernet. This one, thankfully, is coming out in early 2025. And this one is for the vampire girlies for sure. I can like hardly contain my excitement for this one. I don't care if it's on PlayStation Plus or not. I'm buying this like full price, whatever, because it is made for me. Cabernet is a 2D narrative RPG set in the 19th century Eastern Europe inspired world, but it has a modern twist. Guide Liza, a young vampire struggling with her morality and the supernatural world she's been pulled into. Beware, the taste of Cabernet is not for the faint of heart. Prepare to explore themes of social conflict, alcoholism, and corruption. Sustain your facade as one of the living and struggle with your morality as a young vampire. Will you retain your humanity or will you descend further into the horror that you've become? Like, haven't you ever wondered how you would act and what it would be like for you if you ever transformed into a vampire? This is the perfect opportunity to play that little fantasy out. After going through this entire list and rereading all of these synopses, I am more hyped than ever for these games. And now I turn things over to you. Which games are you really anticipating coming out in 2025 and beyond? Please share them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!